everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the Lowery Show. Doing something a little different today. I'm having a guest come in. It's my guy Ian Sauer. He's been working with me. He's been making my videos on Instagram, and he's been helping edit the podcast and doing stuff like that. So he's been behind the camera, but we're going to bring him on today. We're going to bring another voice on the podcast, and he's going to ask me 5 random questions. And I promise, I have no idea what these questions are going to be. I have no idea. That's kind of the point of it, that I'm going to be surprised by these 5 questions, and I can't prepare. My last podcast has been pretty prepared. This one's going to be a little different. It's going to be off the cuff. So without further ado, let's bring my first guest ever on the Lowery Show. Welcome, Ian Sauer. Happy to be here. All right. How's it feel to be the first guest ever?
Feels good. It's
an honor.
A little nervous.
All right. Don't worry, there's only 100 million people watching us.
I know, you have a huge audience.
Yeah. So don't be too nervous.
All right, I'll try not to.
But all right, I'm ready.
All right. So I kind of stayed a little standard with these 5 questions starting out. I do have one weird one, but we're going to start with the most basic one.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Ooh, where do I see myself in 10 years? So I did a post recently that was about, I never expected to live in Charleston. I never expected to be the girls' business. So definitely, I can't make an exact prediction about what the exact business model will be, but I would like to have a business at least 50 million in sales. I would like to be moved out of my house into a bigger house. I always wanted to have like an estate where I had like no neighbors, but business-wise, I just want to be 10 times bigger, 15 times bigger than where I am now. And one thing also is eventually if I have kids, one of my plans is to not let my kids' life like kind of take over my life. I'm going to still be doing my own thing, be focusing on my business, and I'm never going to like settle down. That's my goal. I hope to be just as intense and just as go-getter in 10 years. So that's not a specific plan. I think that I'll still be running the monogram business. My plan is to grow this business, and unless I sell it or it fails, then there's no reason why I won't be in the same business. I'm committed to it, but that's the plan. Just way bigger, way more successful, not living my life vicariously through my kids, still being like cool and not becoming like lame. Those are more of like the emotions, but I don't have a specific plan, but.
That's a pretty good answer though.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Covered a couple different facets of life.
Yeah.
Next, most easy question.
Okay.
What's your biggest fear?
Ooh, all right. My biggest fear. Everyone has fear, but I acknowledge my fear and I'm good at slapping it away really quickly. Like I said, one of my quotes was, I like to treat fear and bias like a golf ball and stare at it for 10 to 15 seconds and then slap it away. So I'm pretty good at not being scared of things, but I'm kind of scared to die. I just don't want to die. I love life. And I mean, I don't walk around every day like, oh no, I'm so scared to die. But in general, like I don't want to die. That's why I want to live so long. So that's a generic one, fear. But the other thing that kind of relates to the last question, I always say this, my biggest fear is to get older and get stuck in my ways. Like one group of people I think that is ridiculous is like Amish people, right? Because they were like, all right, it's 1864. And we're taking technology from this year and we're never advancing again. And they really got stuck in just that. I mean, they have some technology, like those tractors are pretty advanced for that time period and stuff like that. But they just picked a year and they got stuck in their ways. And you see a lot of people with driverless cars be like, oh no, I love driving. Like, you love driving?
You don't love driving.
You don't love driving. Nobody loves driving. So a lot of people just get stuck with the things that they like and they get stuck in their ways. And then as life goes on, they never advance. And those become the old, like disgruntled folk, like back in my day. I never want to be, I fear being a back in my day kind of guy and never moving forward from a point in time. So that's why I always try to push myself to be on top of new trends, be on top of new music, learn new things, and set that expectation to live to be 150 years old, like I talk about, so that way I'll never just be stuck and be like, this is how I'm going to be the rest of my life. I want to always be adapting and changing. So I fear being that guy on the porch who's like, back in my day, this is how we did it.
Fair enough.
So death and being an old hag. That's some of my fears.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. All right. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, it's a good one. So superpowers they're kind of cheating, but we're just talking fun here. Like I always thought it'd be cool to be invisible. Like I don't know why. I just always thought when I was a kid, I could like I don't know, see naked girls and stuff. But I guess like that's kind of creepy. So.
Yeah, using your powers for good there.
I was a kid when I said I wanted to be invisible, and I haven't really thought about it since then. I'm on the cuff here. That's kind of a lame one, invisibility. Yeah. What are some other options? Flying would be cool.
Standard one is flight.
Flying.
Super strength.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with invisibility, and maybe I'll think of a better answer. I haven't thought about this one in a while, and I want to answer quickly. Yeah, I'll stick that one in the back of my head. Maybe I'll come up with something else.
Who are your biggest influences in life?
My biggest influences. Well, I have an amazing mom who raised me. So her strength is an influence to me, of course. Some of my biggest influences, I mean, it's got to be Gary Vaynerchuk's had a big influence on me in the past couple of years just because I hate him now. I hate him because we're very similar, and I always have thoughts, and then he says them too. And obviously he didn't hear me say it, but he's been annoying me. I'm gonna try to make him more of my enemy going forward, and I haven't been watching as much of him. But over the past couple of years, he's been somebody that I've really listened to. Joe Rogan, someone I listen to a lot. I guess those are a little bit like entertainment too. Myself as well. Like I like to not, just take other people's ideas and force them on my own. I'm proud of everything that I've built. So I've influenced myself in a little bit, in a way, I'm proud of the things I've adapted and learned over the years and the way that I've shaped my brain. So it's cocky just to say myself for one of my influences. My mom, myself, Gary Vee, Joe Rogan, those are some answers that pop to the top of my head. But I don't like to base myself just on like one other person. And I like to take lessons and adapt them. And I don't like to take a lesson just from one person. I usually start to take a lesson if I hear it a lot of different times in a lot of different contexts from a lot of smart people. So if I hear something I think is really smart, I don't just take it in just because I trust that person. When I start to see something over and over and over again in different places from different people, I'll be influenced by that idea, but it's not really just one person. So just like the idea of all rich people, all successful people, a lot of them have their own businesses. That's something that I didn't know when I was younger. And then I eventually learned that. And that was something that I didn't just hear from one person, but I read a couple of books, I heard from different people, and hearing the same message over time, something like successful people have their own businesses. And then that's something that I embody. It's not just from one person, but I'm influenced by ideas and those people. So
it's a good answer.
And myself.
I don't think it's cocky to be influenced by yourself.
My biggest
you have
influence.
to be your biggest cheerleader.
Proud of you, Sean.
And the last one is completely off the wall.
Okay.
Do you actually think that Epstein committed suicide?
This is into the news, huh?
Yep.
All right. So I honestly, obviously don't know, but what do I think? If I had to guess, I would say yes, he committed suicide. I like the idea of it being something like creepy or something like that could be a big conspiracy theory. That's a more fun idea. But, I always like to think like if there's an elephant in the room and one person sees it and one person doesn't, if there's not an elephant in the room and one person sees an elephant and one person doesn't, the person who doesn't see it, it makes more sense. Like, as boring as it is, the default is generally the right thing. So they say he committed suicide, and I think I heard today that like they found a different bone snapped in his neck that like is a very common with like strangles.
Oh, I had heard that.
Yeah, so that was like, the news loves the story because it's like interesting. But still, even with that, they said also that's just could be an anomaly. That bone could also break if it's a suicide. So I'm trying to think from his point of view. Would I want to kill myself? I mean, I think he's like 65, 60. Obviously, his reputation's ruined. Yep. And he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. And he's a ballsy guy, He's like a billionaire, kind of a crazy type. So, like, would he kill himself? Like, I think that I can understand the reason for wanting to. So that puts it in the side of suicide. And then the fact that everything else is just complete conspiracy theory, something completely like kind of speculation and made up. I hope it's something like that because that'll be way more fun and interesting. But I like to, when it comes to conspiracy theories, look at the facts. And a lot of the times it was just the default thing. Other conspiracy theories. Let's go. What do you think? Moon landing, real or fake?
I think it's fake.
Oh, I think it's fake?
I didn't for the longest time, but just recently I changed my mind.
Yeah? What made you change your mind?
Why haven't we been back?
That's a good point. I mean, that's a good point. Why haven't we gone back?
And why is the flag moving in the footage? Like there's just too many anomalies that should have been explained by now.
What's the answer to why haven't we gone back? Maybe it's just not worth it.
Yeah, maybe there's nothing up there for us. There's no resources or something.
There was a reason to like fake it at the time and everything.
Yeah.
I think we did. If I had to choose right now,
We did.
yeah, kind of the same theory. Like most of the evidence points to that we did. I mean, they're all conspiracies, but that's a good one though.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one because there's a lot of reasons why we didn't do it too.
It's crazy too because I was always so sure that we did for no reason. Why am I so sure? Just because people told me my whole life.
You say fake for moon landing. I say real, but I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
What is our go-to conspiracy theory?
9/11.
9/11. Oof. Who did 9/11? The government, the U.S. government. That's like the conspiracy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that they didn't plan it, but it's pretty crazy to think of George Bush being like, "All right, yeah, did it hit yet?"
He's not the mastermind. There's no way he's the mastermind. He's a figurehead.
But yeah, and then and the other thing I think about conspiracies too is who is they? You know, like they did this, they did that. Like how organized is this organization? Because the U.S. government is just messy and big, and like someone would have came out by now if they knew that it was fake and said something. Maybe they would have been famous, or maybe they would have been killed. I don't know.
That's why it's so intriguing to think about because we'll never really know.
It's fun to think about,
Yeah.
but I think Epstein killed himself. I think that we landed on the moon. I think 9/11 was a bunch of pissed off terrorists, and I guess that makes me not a conspiracy theorist, really.
Yeah.
But I like searching through the theories. Has there ever been a really big conspiracy theory that was like true?
I mean, once a conspiracy theory is confirmed, it's no longer a conspiracy theory.
What would be an example of one like that would like everyone thought it was a conspiracy and then turned out? I was thinking I think it's funny in middle school we had like that food chart. You know, the food pyramid, and it was like eat bread all day long. And like now it's like, I guess that's not really conspiracy theory. It's just like wrong information told to us that turned out to be like not right at all. But so any other conspiracy theories? Mention them in the comments or something, and we can talk about them. But they're interesting. They're interesting for sure.
Become a conspiracy theory podcast.
No, it's not going to become a conspiracy theory podcast. I don't think I'll be as good at that because you got to have someone that's really like into them and really like finds all the angles and thinks about it and stuff. And the thing is, like, a lot of the times you're just not there. So all the information that you have has been told to you.
Right.
And I like to filter things through my own. So if I'm ever like part of one of these, and that makes it a little different. But it's just, you hear information from both sides and you're just being told things. So you gotta, I guess, go to the source and everything, but they're interesting. Any other bonus questions? That's 5 questions.
How do you feel about Donald Trump?
How do I feel about Donald Trump? All right, we're getting into it. All right, I like him. We never talked about this before. We haven't talked about this before. I'm very in the middle politically. I just want everyone to be happy. Like, I think that we have a great country. I think 99% of people are great people, and I think the world is a great place. And I just walk out into the world every day, and I'm like, wow, this is a great place. We have roads. We have a post office. Like, I just love everything.
Positive optimist.
I'm a very positive person. But I don't know. I like him. I like him because he's kind of crazy. I'm not really into like the policy stuff, but one thing he's really good at that I like is he's very like persuasive, and he uses like his ego as like kind of like a tool. You know, he's kind of always doing the reality TV thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun and entertaining to watch, and he's just funny, and he just seems like
He's like a caricature.
he's a character. Yeah, he's a character of himself.
Crazy.
And I like him. I think he's the best alternative. And I don't really like the whole social justice, this country sucks, the whole country's racist. Like, I think our country's awesome. So like, I kind of always lean towards the country being awesome, but I'm also very liberal in a lot of things, and I don't really care about policy. That's my thing. And he seems like a cool figurehead. And he literally has like, with some other countries, like he just like with China and trade and stuff, he just like says stuff. And then people are like, oh, is he serious or not? Yeah. So he has like crafted the ability to make things happen by just saying like stuff. And like people don't know if he's serious or not. So that whole element that he brings of like his personality and his ego, and he uses that as like a tool for negotiating, I think it's cool. I kind of like him.
I do admire that characteristic that he created this, it's like almost a legendary air about himself. Whatever he does, he's going to be able to get away with it. He can murder somebody in Times Square, and his people will not
It's crazy.
switch.
You know what else I kind of like? People that, and this is like one of the biggest rips on him, which I kind of like, and I think it's like kind of a sneaky thing is, dude, he spells so many words wrong on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think
Stay off Twitter, Trump.
I think he kind of does that on purpose. I think sometimes he spells words. I think sometimes he just spells the words wrong because he has so many ideas. But I think sometimes he spells the words wrong on purpose to get like the late night guys to cover things that they wouldn't cover before.
That's clever.
So like if he got a message that he wants to get out to the whole country or that late night community, I think he might spell something wrong. So then the late night guys pull it up on the TV and then everyone sees his message and I like, yeah, exactly. So I think he uses little things like that.
If he's actually doing that,
I think once in a while he does that.
props.
I think he does that for
Brilliant,
sure.
Trump.
And like, you know, people say it's like 3D chess, or is it just him being an idiot? Like I always lean towards it's him like kind of being a little smarter with playing the media and doing little persuasive tricks like that.
Yeah.
As far as all the policy stuff, I don't know. I love capitalism, like, but I also want everyone to be happy and the downtrodden but also, you know, I'm a hard work guy. But one of who I like right now, I like Andrew Yang too.
Yeah.
I like Andrew Yang a lot. I think he's,
Yang gang?
I'm kind of part of the Yang gang. Yeah. Like I think he is somebody who is also kind of persuasive and he's not all like, a lot of the times the Democrats like are like, they're pulling on the emotional strings and that emotions are important and stuff. But he kind of just stays away from like all like the racism, kids in cages, all that stuff. And he kind of just brings like a positive energy to, he was talking about immigration and he was just like, yeah, well, my dad was an immigrant. He had a bunch of patents. That was a good deal for the country. We should try to bring in like smart people and help the country and everything. I like his like approach and the $1,000 a month thing. I don't know what I think about that. It's interesting, but it's persuasive and it's just a new idea. And a lot of times I've noticed that a lot of the ideas are old and boring and he just brings these like new, fresh ideas. He had this idea about doing like an exchange program within the country. Like everyone can go for a semester to like Texas or California. Just he thinks of a lot of ideas that I don't see other people thinking of. So I like that he's outside the box. I like that he's a business guy himself. I like Yang a lot. Cool. Like, so he's kind of the guy I got an eye on. And he's kind of like the underground guy. I just like a lot of people they get really emotional about politics and stuff. Like, I don't care at all. Like, I just think it's funny and I like everyone and I like the entertainment element of politics a little bit. I mean, because I think that matters. Like, you know, like the news is kind of like a reality TV show and it's entertainment a little bit. So I do care about that element a little bit. But I like Andrew Yang right now. He's a guy that I think is really interesting and fun and it's going to see how he shakes out. And I'm into the debates. Like, I just like, debates, not even for the policy, just like I like seeing people being persuasive and ideas and like I kind of like attacking other people. It's kind of fun. Like I'm a nice guy, but cool. Politics is fun because like you kind of like rip on people. Like in sports, you don't have to. If you cross someone over and dunk on them, like you don't have to apologize. Yeah. Like that's the game. And politics is kind of like that too. Like you kind of got to like dunk on each other, and I kind of think that's fun. I like that element of it. So I look less at like, look at it less like what their policies are, and just like, oh, like got him. Like I want to see more of like going at each other and stuff and positioning yourself. And I like the reality TV element of it. I think that's kind of fun. Oh my God. All right. I remember the moment that I decided I liked him and I was going for him. It was when, after he was at that thing where he said, I won't accept the results or whatever, he said at the debate, like, and everyone was like, oh, he says he's not going to accept the results. And like, I thought that kind of sounded bad too or whatever. And then he had a rally and he goes, I have an announcement to make. I, Donald Trump, do accept the results of the election. And then there was a pause and he goes, if I win. And I was like, dude, you can't. Oh, I was just like, I was like, this guy is crazy, dude. And I kind of like crazy in a way.
He's a full-grown 13-year-old.
He did. Like he said, he doubled down. Doubling down is an interesting tactic. Yeah. And I thought Hillary should have doubled down the one time when she was like, people don't like coal. She was ripping on the coal or whatever, and then the coal miners, which I think coal's a dumb industry. We should move forward and everything like that. I don't know all the details, but and then like she came out and apologized. Like she should have been like doubled down, been like, no, seriously, we need to not have this industry. Like Trump just always doubled down, and it didn't even matter what it was about. It's just like I couldn't believe that like, and it was kind of cool, and also like with everything like that was going on, it's how bad it was going to be. It's been 3 years now. And everyone's life's not that different. Right. So like as more time goes on and there's not like a nuclear war or whatever, it's less hard to think the world's going to end now.
Remember when everybody's going to move to Canada?
Yeah, no one moved to Canada. So hey, I think as time goes on and the world doesn't end, it makes people more like, all right, I guess like. Yeah. I think that the country's doing really good right now, and as you know, as crazy as it is, like I think in 2016 it was like kind of peak crazy, like, and then now I think it's like kind of on a downcline, or everyone's kind of normalized again. There's not as much like judging people by one comment out of context. I feel like it's getting a little better. That's what I think right now. I think the country's doing great, but I'm always open-minded. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a party. I just like the fun of it, and I don't care about policy, but politics is kind of fun for the persuasion and the getting people to vote and all that stuff of it. So, but I think right now everything's kind of calm. I mean, I think the country's in great shape, and I've been so happy to be focusing on like my business content more. And like, you can't talk about politics all the time. Like, if you're, I guess, in politics or on the news or something, then you can focus on it. But if you think that the president affects your life on a day-to-day basis, you're kind of a loser. That's what I think. Like, it doesn't, and that's kind of the power of the mind right there. Like, and that is important. So just think about it. Like, you know, it seems like everyone's saying the world's going to end. You might have the people around you that are saying that. But if you just look at it and filter it through your own, like mind, like I was saying last time, just look around. I think everyone agree the world's really good. And there's no point to be angry at things you can't control. And yeah, with a high stakes political culture, like it's not really. The world's great. And it's been nice to be focusing on business and doing these videos and podcasts and not thinking about politics at all, because who cares?
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry for bringing it up.
no, but it's good. It's good. It's like, it is an interesting topic. And yeah, cover my thoughts on it.
No politics.
But, yeah, business is more fun than politics. I wish business had like a scoreboard. You know, sports have like a score. I guess it's like the stock market and stuff, but sports have a scoreboard and wins and losses, and it's easy to report on. Politics have, I guess, elections and stuff, and they're very easy to report on. It's a little more muddy in the waters, but business, the greatest business person who goes day to day and making amazing moves, it's not really like seen. You know, I guess the stock market, so public companies would be an example of like a scoreboard for business, but I don't have a public company. I'm a small grinding business. So I wish there was more like business news, and that when that took the hearts and soul of like the country and stuff like that. But you know, that's like the content we're putting out, thinking about business, and I love business, and that's what I think about every day, and that's the kind of content I try to focus on, and even when I'm thinking about it and talking about it. So that's my take. So yeah, that one was the longest answer, of course, because like you said, everything comes back to him.
Yeah.
But I love this country. I love everybody. I want everyone to be happy, and hopefully I didn't lose half my viewers by saying I like them. Half of my dozens of listeners.
If you can't have a difference of opinion and stay friends,
yeah,
get out.
I love differences of opinions too. So
Yeah.
maybe we have to find something we really disagree on.
Yeah.
But
Test it.
but yeah, all right. So this has been episode 6. We brought in Ian. I hope you guys like it. Let us know what you think. And yeah, this has been fun. So I appreciate everyone listening. Give some comments, and we're out.